Chapter 28. Avakirnakusuma. Prediction of Avakirnakusuma. Thereupon, at that time, one of the gods of the 33 seized Mandarava flowers, magnificent Mandarava flowers, and came to where the Lord was. And just at that time 6,000 monks were assembled and seated in that assembly. They rose from their seats, put their upper robes over one shoulder, placed their right knees on the earth, and saluted the Lord with their folded hands. Through the Buddha's might, their heads were then filled with Mandarava flowers, with magnificent Mandarava flowers. They scattered those flowers over the Lord and said, "We, O Lord, shall course in this perfection of wisdom. We, O Lord, shall dwell in the supreme dwelling of perfect wisdom." Thereupon, on that occasion, the Lord smiled. But such is the nature of the Buddhas and Lords that, when they manifest a smile in an assembly of bodhisattvas, then various colored rays issue from the Lord's mouth. Rays blue, yellow, red, white, crimson, crystal, silverish, and golden. These rays illuminate endless and boundless world systems with their luster. They rise up to the world of Brahma, again return from there to the Lord, circulate thrice round the Lord, and then vanish again in the head of the Lord. Thereupon the venerable Ananda rose from his seat, put his upper robe over one shoulder, placed his right knee on the earth, bent his folded hands toward the Lord, and said, "It is not without reason that the Tathagata manifests a smile. What is the reason for your smile, O Lord?" The Lord said, "Those 6,000 monks, Ananda, shall, in a future period, in the star-like aeon, know full enlightenment, demonstrate Dharma to beings. They all shall bear the same name. With Avakirnakusuma for their name, these Tathagatas shall be teachers in the world. They shall all have an equal congregation of disciples. They shall all live the same length of time, that is, 20,000 eons. Each one of them shall have an extensive holy writ that shall spread widely among gods and men. In each case, their good law shall abide for the same length of time, for 20,000 eons, and showers of flowers, all of the 5 colors, shall descend on all of them, wherever they may leave the home which they had in village, town, or marketplace, wherever they may turn the wheel of Dharma, wherever they may dwell, wherever they may appear among people." Praise of perfect wisdom. Therefore then, Ananda, bodhisattvas who want to dwell in the highest dwelling, who want to dwell in the dwelling of the Tathagata, should dwell in the dwelling of perfect wisdom. And with any bodhisattva who courses in perfect wisdom, one can be quite certain that he had, before he was reborn here among men, deceased among men or among the heavenly hosts of the Tushitas. For it is among men and the Tushita gods that this perfection of wisdom circulates in its full extent. One can be certain that the Tathagatas behold those bodhisattvas who course in this perfection of wisdom, who learn it, bear it in mind, study, preach, repeat, or merely write it, and who also instruct other bodhisattvas, admonish, instigate, and encourage them. One should know that they have planted wholesome roots with the Tathagatas. They have not only in the presence of disciples and Pratyeka Buddhas planted wholesome roots so as to train in perfect wisdom, but without any doubt those bodhisattvas who train in this perfection of wisdom and remain unafraid, they have planted wholesome roots with the Tathagatas. Those who take up this perfection of wisdom, bear it in mind, study, preach, repeat, and write it, who pursue it, its meaning, contents, and method, one should be quite certain that they have been face to face with Tathagatas. If bodhisattvas do not revile this perfection of wisdom, do not oppose, deny, or reject it, then one should know that they have fulfilled their duties under the jinas of the past. But If a bodhisattva does not go back on his vow to win full enlightenment, then he does not give the wholesome root, which he has planted in the presence of Tathagatas, over to discipleship or pratyeka Buddhahood as his reward. And, as a rule, such bodhisattvas are grateful and practice the perfection of wisdom. Transmission of the Sutra to Ananda. Therefore then, Ananda, again and again I entrust and transmit to you this perfection of wisdom, laid out in letters, so that it may be available for learning, for bearing in mind, preaching, studying, and spreading wide, so it may last long, so that it may not disappear. If, Ananda, you should again forget all the demonstrations of Dharma which you have learned directly from me, the perfection of wisdom alone being accepted, should cast them away and allow them to be forgotten, that would be but a slight offense against me. But if you should ever forget, cast away, and allow to be forgotten only one verse of the perfection of wisdom, or merely a part of a verse, that would be a very serious offense against me, and it would displease me greatly. And if, after you have learned the perfection of wisdom, you again forget it, cast it away, allow it to be forgotten, then you would fail in the respect, reverence, and worship which you owe to me and to the other Buddhas and Lords, past, future, and present. Therefore, Ananda, remember that it would be a serious offense against me if, after you had learned the perfection of wisdom, you should again forget it, cast it away, and allow it to be forgotten, and that would greatly displease me. For the Tathagata has said that the perfection of wisdom is the mother, the creator, the genetrix of the past, future, and present Tathagatas, their nurse in all knowledge. Therefore, then, Ananda, do I entrust and transmit to you this perfection of wisdom, so that it might not disappear. This perfection of wisdom should be learned, should be borne in mind, studied, repeated, written, and developed. You should attend well to this perfection of wisdom, bear it well in mind, study it well, and spread it well. And when one learns it, one should carefully analyze it grammatically, letter by letter, syllable by syllable, word by word. For, as the Dharma body of the past, future, and present Tathagatas, is this Dharma text authoritative. In the same way in which you, Ananda, behave toward me, who at present resides as a Tathagata, with solicitude, affection, respect, and helpfulness, just so, with the same solicitude, affection, and respect, and in the same virtuous spirit, should you learn this perfection of wisdom. Bear it in mind. Study, repeat, write, and develop it. Respect, revere, and worship it. That is the way for you to worship me. That is the way to show affection, serene faith, and respect for the past, future, and present Buddhas and Lords. If, Ananda, I, the Tathagata, am dear and pleasant to you, and you do not abandon me, may thereby this perfection of wisdom become dear and pleasant to you, and may you not abandon it, so that you may not forget even one single word of it, so that it may not disappear. For long could I speak to you about this bestowal of the perfection of wisdom, for 1 kalpa, or for the remainder of a kalpa, or for 100 kalpas, for up to hundreds of thousands of kotis of kalpas, and more. But, to cut it short, in the same way in which I am your teacher, so is the perfection of wisdom. In the same way in which the past, future, and present Buddhas and Lords are the teachers of the world, with its gods, men, and asuras, just so is the perfection of wisdom. Therefore, Ananda, with a measureless bestowal, I entrust and transmit to you the perfection of wisdom, which itself is measureless, for the benefit and happiness of the world, with its gods, men, and asuras. If one does not want to abandon the Tathagata, or the Dharma, or the Sangha, if one does not want to abandon the enlightenment of the past, future, and present Buddhas and Lords, may one not abandon the perfection of wisdom. And there is this further admonition, that those who learn this perfection of wisdom bear it in mind, study, repeat, write, and develop it. They assist in the enlightenment of the past, future, and present Buddhas and Lords. For whoever assists in this perfection of wisdom when it is crumbling away, he or she assists in the enlightenment of the past, future, and present Buddhas and Lords. Because from the perfection of wisdom has the enlightenment of the Buddhas and Lords come forth. And that holds good of all the Tathagatas, whether past, future, or present. Therefore, a bodhisattva who wants to know full enlightenment and to train in the 6 perfections should listen to this perfection of wisdom, study, repeat, and write it. And he or she should train in this very perfection of wisdom and make endeavors about it. For this perfection of wisdom is the mother, creator, and genetrix of the bodhisattvas. It is thanks to the perfection of wisdom that any bodhisattvas ever train in the 6 perfections, and at any time go forth to full enlightenment. It is thanks to just this perfection of wisdom that they all go forth in the 6 perfections. Because all the perfections come to nourish the supreme enlightenment after they have come forth from the perfection of wisdom. Therefore then, Ananda, again and again, for a 2nd time, for a 3rd time, do I entrust and transmit this perfection of wisdom to you, so that it might not disappear. For this perfection of wisdom is the inexhaustible storehouse of Dharma for the Tathagatas, the Dharma which the Buddhas and Lords have demonstrated to beings in the past period, in the world of birth and death, which has no beginning or end. All that came from just this storehouse of Dharma, from the perfection of wisdom. And also the Dharma which the Buddhas and Lords will, after their full enlightenment, demonstrate to beings in the future period, in the measureless world of birth and death. Also that will come from just this storehouse of Dharma, from the perfection of wisdom. And also the Buddhas and Lords who just now reside in countless world systems and demonstrate Dharma, they also have derived their revelation from just this storehouse of Dharma, from the perfection of wisdom. If, Ananda, you should demonstrate Dharma on the disciple level to persons belonging to the vehicle of the disciples, and if, as a result of your demonstration of Dharma, all the beings in the great Trichiliacosm would realize arhatship, you would not have done your duty as my disciple, if in that way you would keep moving after me the wheel of Dharma and demonstrate Dharma. But if, on the other hand, you would demonstrate and reveal but one single verse of the Dharma associated with the perfection of wisdom to a bodhisattva, then I should be pleased with you, who, as my disciple, turns after me the wheel of Dharma and demonstrates Dharma. If you consider that demonstration of Dharma of yours, through which the beings in the great Trichiliacosm have all been induced to attain arhatship, and of those arhats the meritorious work founded on giving, on morality, and on meditational development, would all that constitute a great heap of merit? Ananda said, It would, Lord. The Lord said, A person belonging to the vehicle of the disciples begets a greater merit than that if he or she demonstrates to bodhisattvas the Dharma associated with the perfection of wisdom. The merit is still greater if it is a bodhisattva who demonstrates to another bodhisattva a verse of Dharma associated with the perfection of wisdom. For even one single day only, for a morning, for an hour, for half an hour, for a minute, nay, for a second, for a moment, for the incidence of a single moment. For the gift of Dharma on the part of a bodhisattva surpasses all the wholesome roots of all those who belong to the vehicle of disciples or pratyeka Buddhas. It is quite impossible that a bodhisattva who is thus endowed with wholesome roots, who thus brings to mind that wholesome root, could possibly turn away from full enlightenment. That cannot be.